soon. Some folks are going to come on a little late. It's all good. All right, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome to, what is this, session number 3, module number 3 of, I was about to say Money Mind Academy, of B-School. And this week's module was all about content. Creating your content, making your content schedule, making a decision about what kind of content you want to create, what platform and medium you want to use in order to express yourself. Do you want to write? Do you want to podcast? Do you want to be a video creator? Now, I will tell you that this is probably the most, for me, as a coach, as a consultant, I would say that this is for me the most frustrating thing that I deal with or that I come up against with online entrepreneurs is the creation of content. It sounds easy. Yeah, I'm just going to write a blog post or make a podcast one day. It sounds really cool, but the actual sitting down and doing it is like pulling teeth a lot because there's a lot of things that are involved there. Number one is that we tend to want instant results, right? We want to be able to sit there for 5 or 6 hours, whatever it may be, and create our blog post, to do the preparation for the podcast, to do the preparation and the shooting and the editing and all that stuff for the video that we are creating for our target avatar, for our potential customers and followers. But for all the time that we put into it, there is very little payoff in the beginning. And it can become incredibly frustrating where you're like, oh my God, I just put, 12 hours into this content and, 5 people went to my website or, 30 people watched the video. And that's just really the patience that's involved with creating your online business and just knowing that it's not going to happen overnight. And it's that early investment in yourself and in your content, even though a lot of people don't see it, that's what's going to pay off down the road, not only in like consistency, which is always going to be key for your business, but also in the practice of it all, that your early content is not going to be anywhere near as good as your latter content. And so it's just like playing any sport or learning any particular skill or technique or whatever it may be. It's at the beginning, it's going to be a little bit probably not as good as you want it to be, but you got to get that stuff out of you first. I'm going to play a clip in just a little bit from a documentary about Ed Sheeran that I think will connect with a lot of you. Let's get this thing started off with aha moments, breakthroughs, just anything that Marie said that really made you go, oh, okay. Anybody want to start it off? Go ahead, Kate. Unmute yourself. I forgot to get to point number 2, but go ahead.
I got really stuck this week, and I was like tempted to backpedal and the whole thing. And she had written something in one of the lessons she said, you have to train yourself to leverage what you already have to get where you want to go. Mm-hmm. And that just helped me right then, because I just started making a list of everything I already have. Mm-hmm. And instead of looking at what I don't have, mm-hmm. and it just reoriented me to.
I love it. Well, what do you already have?
It was a longer list than I thought. So,
well, you know what? Let's do it the other way around. First, I want you to tell us what you thought you didn't have, and then we'll talk about what you have.
Okay.
What you needed.
So I didn't have, this legal help that I know I need now. I didn't have IT help for a website and realizing that's a huge thing with what I'm doing. And I didn't have, at the time, real strong accountability in my area and things that I could do, but that's coming. I'm actually meeting with someone now. Mm-hmm. And I don't have the computer skills. And here I am, I'm going, what am I doing an online business when I don't have these skills? Mm-hmm. So a lot of it, and it was like, well, I do art, but I'm not on Etsy. I just didn't feel led to go that way. So how can I speak to these people? And then on the other end, it was, well, I don't have a history of concierge services or even being in the service industry that way. I've been a speech pathologist. What can I do? So I was looking at all my lack of skills, all my lack of team members or support. I was just looking at everything like, what am I doing here?
Mm-hmm. So to turn that around, what did you realize that you do have?
That I have the desire to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mixed with doubt and fear and everything, but I have the desire to do this.
Good.
And that I have a story and a purpose for why I'm doing this that's more than just getting this business up. And that there is a sweet spot with where my the uniqueness of me meets the needs of these people I'm trying to serve.
Mm-hmm.
That I have personal strengths that I can leverage. And I don't have an urgent need right now I have a roof over my head. I have a computer. It's not like I have no time to do this. And I think I was feeling an urgency because I see everybody else getting even pages up, and I can't do that right now with the nature of what I'm doing. And I have some things I want to sell, and that was part of it. It's like, this is going to require a lot more funds than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I've asked my husband that I want to do this myself. And so I've been in places in my life where I didn't have much at all, and it made me a better person. It made me stronger, and I needed that strength for what was coming ahead. And so I don't want to be in a place where this is handed to me, and not that he could do that, but I want the amount of work I need to build the strength to be able to stand there when it comes. And so, I looked at, okay, I've got this crochet work that I do. I've got some resources there. I've got ideas that are just overflowing inside of me for how to do this. I've got you all
Mm-hmm.
and all the B-School materials and the resources. I live in an area that is just rich with artists. I'm in a corner of a 3-state area, and all of them are just rich with artists.
Good.
I guess it was just, it was longer than the other list.
Right. And it's all about where you are putting your attention. You can put your attention on all the things that you don't have, or you can focus on what you do have and work with that. And as you work with that, some of the things that you don't have are going to show up because you started where you are. That's how it works. That's how abundance works, really. So that's great. Good stuff, Kate. Showcase some love. Fantastic. Yep. Anybody else have a share around any breakthrough moments that you had, aha moments that you had? This go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi, Sean.
Hi.
Actually, my breakthrough moment came from you. Back when I was setting up, and it was in last week or the week before, I can't remember now, but when I was trying to set up my website, everyone said, choose a name that tells what you do. Something that's going to grab the people's attention, something that my avatar would be asking at 2 o'clock in the morning when they can't sleep. Something that answers that question. And so I had named, and after going through dozens of iterations, based off of what my original ideas were, and then I kind of branch off and see where I could take those, and finally selected how to, and then the special character dash, and then money.com, which I wasn't completely thrilled with. And especially as I started to roll it out, I had a group of young women who really wanted me to get this up and going. So I had some incentive to get moving on it. And as I started rolling it out to other people, it was always people wanted to either spell out the dash, or if I said hyphen, they wanted to spell out hyphen. And so I knew deep down that this was not going to work. And of course, there already is a howtomoney.com. And so a lot of times if you typed it in, it would redirect you to that website. And, so when you said that during our Saturday get together, I knew it. I already knew it deep down inside. It wasn't what I wanted to hear, but I knew it was true. And so I took some time away from B-School and really focused on trying to come up with a better name. And I went through, once again, dozens of iterations. I think I'm one of those people, I'm an accountant, so I tend to get mired in the details. I tend to get, paralysis by overanalysis. But luckily another B schooler actually came to me and who does branding. And she told me, she's like, just name it yourself. And that's what I originally wanted to do, was name it jenniferharder.com, which was already taken. And Jennifer A. Harder was taken, and J. Harder was taken. But I finally, with a little help from my friends at B School, came up with jenniferharderconsulting.com. So now I'm back off and rolling. I still have the how-to dash whatever special character money website. I'm not sure how I'm going to fold it in. I may keep it as a subset of mine. I honestly don't know. But I wanted to say thank you to you, because I now have a website that is closer to what I wanted to begin with, and is not going to have all that confusion with the special characters. So once again, thank you, Sean. I really appreciate your help.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank you for taking action on that. Fantastic. Show Jennifer some love, my friends. Good stuff. All right, let's do one more. Aha moment, big win, breakthrough. What you got? Anybody? Nobody wants to share today? Daniel, go ahead.
What's up, Sean?
Yo.
Okay, so my aha moment basically happened right after our call last week, because Kate, yourself, and I can't remember the other woman that said, well, they basically called me out and was like, I don't feel your fire. And it's like I got off the call and I was like, wow, okay, now I got to figure this out. But as soon as it was weird. It was like a little stressful, but at the same time, there was like this total release where I'm like, oh, this actually feels so much better, even though I don't know how I'm going to do it or how it's going to work, but it feels so much better. And then I kept thinking about, like, even when I was structuring the other program, when I was thinking about setting up the whole health program with all the facets of sleep and movement and thinking and nutrition, I would dream every day. I realized that the whole time, all I was pretty much dreaming about was all about the thinking, the mindset. And I was like, wow, of course, that makes sense. And then I started thinking about my relationship with friends and clients and what my favorite sessions were when I hang out with people. And every single time, it's always related to me helping them with something psychological or something with perspective. So, yeah, so it was pretty cool. So, but this whole week, I haven't done any B school stuff. I mean, a little bit, because now I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, well, now what am I going to do within that field? Because it feels very new. I've been researching. It seems like a lot of people are, a lot of personal development people do a lot to help people set up their business. I've seen a lot of that. But I don't think that that's the way I want to go. I want to stay more on the psychological side of it, but I'm still trying to figure out what's out there. How can I do that? The other cool thing about the aha moment was one of the reasons I wanted to set up the one-to-many online program is because I was like pretty much tired of doing training and health coaching, right? But what's interesting now is I don't mind if I'm doing, this kind of coaching 8 hours a day, so it's cool that I'm fully into it in that way. So
that's great. Yeah, it changes your whole vibration when you get clear on what you want to do. And when you change your vibration, you're also going to start to get ideas that you wouldn't have gotten before. But the key to being receptive to those ideas is to relax. And so maybe a little less trying to figure it out, but just relaxing and knowing that it's coming your way. Do you meditate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually taking a meditation course. I meditate like twice a day right now. Okay,
very, very good. And so, continue to meditate, and those ideas will flow to you. Just give it some time and give it some patience.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Kate.
Yep. All righty. So, is everyone here clear on what kind of content you want to produce? As Marie said, she says, free is the key. That was a line that really stood out to me. You probably know about me because you listen to the Quote of the Day show. Very consistent content, 5 days a week. Very seldom do we miss a week of shows. You may know about Marie from Marie TV, or you heard her on somebody else's podcast. This is how we get to know people. This is how we get to trust people, is through their content that they are producing. Where there is no content, where there is no consistent sharing, there is no business. And we can try to go around, and do Facebook ads and all that stuff, but there's nothing wrong with that. You're just not going to be able to create that long-term relationship and the same emotions as you would have created with them if they would have consumed multiple pieces of content. You're not going to do that through a Facebook ad. And so when we talk about like the work in your business, the work is really the content. And as I was saying earlier in the call, it can be kind of like pulling teeth with people that I consult with to get them to create content. But they, very often there's I'm afraid of what people are going to think of me when I create this content. And I think that's probably the biggest hurdle that people have to get over, or they're having a hard time getting over. So is anyone here unclear as to what kind of content they want to produce? Like when I say what kind, is it going to be a blog? Are you going to do podcasts? Are you going to do videos? Is anybody unclear about that? Would like to chat about it? Daniel, okay. Daniel, go ahead.
I'm good. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's much to say because I just told you my situation. Right. I have been thinking about YouTube. I thought about podcasting. I was actually looking at the thing you suggested from YouTube. Your friend, what's his name?
Breakthrough Academy.
Yes, I was looking at that as well. Is that something that you've done yourself, or are you like a fan of it for sure? Or because I was looking at
that's a fantastic course. I haven't used it myself because I haven't made YouTube videos for a really long time. Jake has used that, like literally like implemented the entire course and has significantly grown his online following. And that's the thing, with all of you podcasting, it's really challenging to do search engine optimization with podcasting. I don't even know if there is search engine optimization for podcasting, to be honest, on like iTunes and Stitcher and the other platforms there. But if you're going to blog, if you're going to do YouTube videos, you're going to have to take the time to study the search engine optimization side of things, because you don't just want to create content. Like when somebody, I'll get back to you in a second, Dan. When somebody sends me, like who's in my mastermind group, for example, says, hey, I started making videos, and I will go and look at the videos, but I have TubeBuddy, the extension that's hooked up to my browser. And so it allows me to see like what are the tags that they're using, what are the descriptions and all that stuff. Well, you can actually see the description now, like as a public user, but TubeBuddy allows you to look at the actual tags that they're using for that particular video. And very often I'll look at the tags and there'll be no tags there, or there'll just be some really general stuff there. Vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, food, health. And, the feedback that I always give is, hey, I really, really, really am excited for you. You're creating content, but at the same time, you're creating content that no one's ever going to find because you're not taking your search engine optimization seriously. Your tags are very general, and, no one's going to watch this because nobody can find it. And so you're going to have to put in the time to make the videos, but I'll also, again, highly, 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 highly recommend that you research search engine optimization for YouTube. And if you're blogging, you got to look up or study search engine. I'm just going to say SEO because it's so hard for me to say search engine optimization. SEO for blogging as well. Go ahead, Daniel.
Oh, no, I was... That's all I really had to say. I didn't have anything specific. So the search engine optimization, does he do that in the program?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's probably other courses as well. Udemy or Udemy, UDEMY.com. They have lots of courses on SEO there, just smaller courses, probably nothing that's going to like make you a total expert on it, but just to get your feet wet. There's a lot of courses there. But for you, Daniel, as you are kind of waiting for the universe to drop that, idea on you, now that you feel more aligned, what you can do in the meantime is start studying SEO for YouTube if you feel like that's what you want to do. I've seen you on video, you're great on video, but now it's just about finding out the topic. Another thing that you can do, Daniel, is look up like the top 10 personal development channels on YouTube and see what they're doing. So go to their videos and you can select most viewed, and it'll give them to you in order of like the most viewed ones. Now, what you want to do is look at, Sherry, that's Video Breakthrough Academy. And there's also Udemy, udemy.com, that has a lot of courses. And what you can do for these 10 people that you find is you're going to look at the commonalities among their best videos. And what you'll see is like a lot of the topics that they go over in these most viewed videos are kind of similar. So that's going to kind of give you an idea as to what content people are going to want from you as well, if it resonates with you. I'm going to teach you more of this when we do a full module. I think you guys have implementation week next week. And so we're going to go through podcasting next Saturday, but your second implementation week, we're going to go through YouTube SEO and best practices for YouTube. And so we'll go through all of that stuff. But yeah, so do that, get familiar with what other people are doing and see, hey, is this something I want to do as well?
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. Thank you, Daniel. Anybody else like unclear as to what medium they want to use for their content? And do you want to discuss it? Go ahead, Kate. We'll go to Tressa in just a minute.
Okay. I'm not sure if it's what medium, but it's more, I'm feeling more like not being able to even put a lead page out or not being able to do something like that. I feel stuck in a flow, of content. Mm-hmm. So is there something else I can do to just keep that going while I'm,
For you, I have to think about that one because you're different. Your business is different. What are similar sites doing for their content? Are they writing? What are they doing?
I only found one that actually has a blog and is writing. Mm-hmm. The rest are they are just service. You get on there, you order a gift, and there is no real relationship going on.
And that's what can set you apart from all of the others, that you are bringing people to your site through content. Then what it's all about is learning. Like when we start Jerk Bar up again, it's going to be a very content-driven kind of business because there aren't any that I know of health food like brands, like bars that are actually sending out consistent content to their customer base, right? So they can learn more about their health. I have a friend who had a business called Patriot Health, and they sold supplement products. And Justin literally sent out a content-based email to his list every single day, and they crushed it, right? Because you're constantly giving people a reminder that you exist. Like, hey, I'm alive, and we have a website over here. And so start to think about, like, what do your customers want to hear about? Do they want to hear stories of your artisans, work or their background? Do they want to learn how to do this particular art themselves? Do they want to see like overhead videos of, the art coming together itself? Do they want tutorials? So start to think about what that is. Then you can create your content around that. Now, you also may not know right off the bat what that is. And so it's going to take some testing. And this goes for all of you. Your content in the beginning may not be what your followers or your potential followers really want, but you'll be able to see, through your Google Analytics, which is what, measures all the activity on your website, like how many people are clicking on something, how many people are reading something. You'll be able to see through those stats what people really want to read or listen to or watch on your site. And you also know from your emails as well. So when you send out an email, you can see the open rate, you can see the click-through rate. So you're just basically using statistics in order to see what people want. And then based on that data that you're gathering over the beginning of your business, you can have a better idea of what they want from you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now, since I can't put something like that out there, do I just use a group like this and say, hey, what do you think of this idea? Or, I mean, what do I do until I can?
I mean, yeah, you can do that, but you can also, your medium, do you want to write? Is that it?
I want to do some mixed. So I want to do video like you were talking about of artists, what they're doing. Really what I want to do is a bi-weekly, communication where once a week, once a month, it's highlighting a particular artist and their work or a type of artwork, and even like that it's what state it's particular or what region it's particular to. And then the second time, I want to highlight the practice of giving. Okay. So stories about giving and the effects of giving on health and relationships and giving in different cultures. And
do you have a name for your business? You don't have to tell me, but do you have a name for your business?
The domain I've got is theartisangiftconcierge.com.
Okay. Can you get it without the?
Yeah.
Yeah, get it.
I got both.
It's a little long.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would actually, like, lowest hanging fruit, like that you can start today, is to, because this is gonna be very visual. So an Instagram account for your business, and just start posting things about art. It can be other people's art. It could be your art. It can be your thoughts about a piece of work that you saw. It can be anything as it pertains to art in your avatar, and just start posting about that. Don't really talk so much about the business. You're just bringing people in to follow you so that when you launch the business, there'll already be people there.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah. And just do that as a blog.
Right. And exactly. And then for you, also start looking at other popular artisan Instagram pages and look at their hashtags and see what are those hashtags that they're using right now, and start using those hashtags in your content. And that way people will find you. Okay.
Now, when I do the blog, I guess I should do it with a different name than Artisan Gift Concierge, because right now there is no Artisan Gift Concierge out there. So even the name is putting it out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wouldn't worry so much about protecting. Is there a concern about protecting the name? What's the concern again?
No, just that whole ocean, I guess, because I could see where Etsy or any of them, they don't have any service like that. And
but they don't really know the idea yet. It's just a name, so they don't know the real concept behind it, and so I really wouldn't worry about that at all. You're going to introduce the content or the concept when you launch the business. Right now, you're just getting people who love art to raise their hand and just click the follow button.
Okay.
On your Instagram. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
No problem. All righty. Let's go to Tressa, and then we'll go to Allison.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tressa.
I have a quick question before I go to the content thing. Are we going to be covering SEO things in B-School?
No.
She's not covering. Oh, damn. Okay. That's always been one of my things that I really need help with. So, okay. Content, my idea. I haven't gotten to module 3 yet. I'm just finishing up with 2. But I like doing the blogs as I think I mentioned before. I like linking the IG and the Facebook, to the blog. I'm not writing anything any differently. And you told me that your emails that you send out will also link to all that. So I'm not writing anything differently with the emails too. But that content that I'm doing every week to get people, to my site and everything, and get my customers. to trust
Real
me.
quick, so I just want to make sure that I'm clear on something. If you're blogging, your emails can be your blog post if you want it to be, or your email can talk about what you blogged about, and then you can send them to your website to read the actual full blog post.
Okay.
So for me, I can't include the audio of a podcast in an email.
Right.
So I write the post and then I send them to the website or to iTunes or wherever to listen to the actual podcast itself. But if I were writing a blog post, I probably wouldn't include the entire blog post in the email. Number one, it's probably going to get kind of long, you know? Mm-hmm. And number two, I just think it's easier to kind of whet their appetite and make them go, oh, that's something I want to read about. They click and then they go.
Right. And you want to drive them to your website
of course.
too.
Of
so
course.
Yeah, so I wasn't thinking, but I'm just saying the content all works together. I'm not doing different things with different mediums like that,
right.
Which is good. But I think, so I want to continue doing the blogs, as that seems to be central to getting, attaching everything. The flow works for me right now. And I would like to do some videos at some times that like demonstrate something that I'm talking about in the blog. So that's my idea for right now, doing videos, not necessarily doing podcasts like what you have, but videos that support or demonstrate a particular idea that I'm emphasizing in my blogs. What do you think?
I think it sounds good, as long as it's not too much work, right? When you're writing and you're making the videos. For a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, I can't do both. Some people can't. So it just depends on, who you are and what how much time you have to put into your content. I always like to say, just focus on one. So if you're just doing video, just do video and just drive people to your YouTube channel. And then you make the offers at the end of your video. Hey guys, go to my website or click the link down there and get my free ebook or my free video course or whatever. And that's how you're going to build your list. And so it's just going to kind of depend. What you're saying is totally fine if you want to put the work in. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wouldn't be like long videos. Again, it would be something that I felt that was really important. That was maybe something that was hard to communicate in writing. So a video or some type of imagery would be appropriate.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of where I am with the video kind of thing now. Not doing podcasts at this point. Not there yet.
And for you, like cooking videos would be amazing. This amazing salad that helps you, that keeps you full, but also helps you lose weight. That type of thing. People would love to see you make those salads and make those meals. People love that kind of stuff. Also, and this goes for everybody here, and this is kind of goes without saying, but when you go on YouTube, you're like, what is this? Just make sure your videos don't suck. You want to use your creativity. You want to have some enthusiasm. If you say, hey, welcome to my YouTube video, and today I'm going to show you how to make a salad. The average watch time on a video, and this was many years ago when I grabbed this stat, and so it's probably less now, is 10 seconds. It's like going through, remember back in the day, you would get a CD, like a new CD, and you pop it in, and then you kind of listen to a song for about 10 seconds, and you're like, I don't like that one. You listen to another one, you're like, I don't like that one either. And you listen to it, and you're like, oh, okay, this is the one. You listen to that one, and then you listen to the next one, you're like, no, that's not the one. That's how people watch YouTube videos. And so if you don't have that enthusiasm, that's the whole reason behind the yo, what's up, y'all? Or yo, today's QOD is, it makes people go, okay, I have to listen to this one because he's really excited about this one. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be overexcited. I'm not saying that you have to be me. I want you to be yourself, but you have to look passionate and enthusiastic about what you are talking about. If you don't, you're going to lose people pretty quick. Mm-hmm. Keep that in mind. Okay. Thank you, Tressa.
So,
go ahead.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. Did you have something else?
I was just going back to the SEO thing because that's bothering me a little bit, that we're not going to be covering it in detail, because that was one of the things that I was really hoping to get out of B-School.
SEO is not something that you can teach in a B-School course. SEO it's not, it's just one of those things where, honestly, I recommend that you farm it out. but if you have to learn it yourself, there is, if you go to Yoast.com, like toast, but with a Y at the beginning, there are some courses there. I believe they have like a beginner's course there just to start to show you how to do SEO. But SEO is pretty intense and probably not something that can be included in a B-School type of course. Also, it's going to be over a lot of people's heads. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's important that you study it. Remember, everything that you know, you didn't know in the beginning. So you just got to keep kind of, slowly building your knowledge and putting in the time.
Okay.
Thank you, Tress.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, let's go to Allison. You are unmuted. Rock and roll.
Hi. Good morning.
Morning.
I was so my main thing has always been I'm gonna do blogging, and I and then have an email list and do either weekly or every other week emails to my followers. And I'm doing parenting advice for women, for moms in their 30s and 40s who are very professional and completely confident in their professional life and feel amazingly, feel like they've got their life together, but with the whole parenting arena, feel like they're in over their head and have no idea where they're going and how to get started. But I am a teacher, and I'm a first grade teacher, and I love doing parent education. So being like on and live and with my students' parents and just teaching them. And so I have always thought about doing video. But I really like writing, and I feel like I'm really good at it. So I've been kind of playing with the idea of having a blog post and then putting that blog post out either as a video or as a just podcast as the audio. But it's the same content, and they can choose how they listen to it. But how much does that really increase? How valuable is that to people? Is it more work than it's worth, or not?
I think it's worth testing, and that's going to be the answer to most of the questions here. It's worth testing. So in the beginning, write the blog post, read the blog post in audio form, and just see if people are actually listening to you verbally say the post. I'm going to assume with this population who's pretty busy that a lot of them will appreciate just being able to listen to it in the car or while they're exercising or something like that. So it's definitely worth a try. And I don't really foresee that taking lots of time. When it's a video, that's a separate thing, and there's a whole different thing. But if you're just reading and then maybe adding a few thoughts in there that just come up, I think you'll be fine. It doesn't really require much. There's actually no editing there either, which is great. Right.
Okay. Awesome. And then would that be something that you feel like I've struggled with? Like, if I do go with that idea, is that like I'm creating sort of like a formal podcast, and it's just that my weekly post is my podcast episode? Mm-hmm. Or is it like I'm just recording the video and it's just embedded in the post, and if they want, they can click it at the end? Or
it's going to be embedded in the post from your podcast. So It'll kind of be like my website where, right there on the top, there's the player. So they can click that, or they can read the post, or both. But the cool thing about making it an official podcast is people will be able to subscribe.
Right.
Subscribers will automatically get your content every week as you put it out.
Nice.
And it doesn't really require much work other than, uploading, which takes 13 seconds.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Allison.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Let's go to Katie Drescher. Katie, where you at? Katie. All right. Let's go to Mary. You're on the air. Oh, maybe not. You're on the air now.
Okay. So my question, I don't know. Basically, I'm thinking to myself, I already work tons of hours every week, and I just want to pick your brain about logistics of making good content, but not driving myself crazy. Like, I was watching Marie, and she talked about batch producing those videos on Tuesdays, and I thought, well, duh. I mean, in my brain, I'm thinking says this every week, but obviously that's not going to work. So what are your tips and tricks to actually making this work? Because I don't want to have this idea to produce content and then the logistics of it get me caught up, and then I'm not being consistent because I'm too busy, because I am going to want to take a lot of clients. And so how do I balance that?
What are you doing? Are you writing? Are you?
I want to do YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, just batch them. Just do them all in one day. Yeah.
Okay.
So Saturday morning, after our call here, you just start banging out videos, and you know, if you're going to do one post per week just to start, then you get 4 done. Plot them out throughout the week. You know, like I'm going to play this video for you in a second, but when you know that you have content to produce on Saturday, throughout the week, you're going to get ideas. And you just want to write them, put them in your phone, like what you're going to talk about, how you're going to lay out the video. And then the morning on Saturday, for example, you'll just knock the videos out. It would be helpful for you to hire somebody. Like I usually hire people who live in the States, but if you guys want to hire, you know, people who live in other countries, you know, such as, you need somebody out there. Katie, we'll come back to you in a second. If you want to hire people through like Upwork or through Fiverr who can do your video editing for like $2 an hour, you can certainly do that. I know Jake does that. Jake has a guy in Pakistan who crushes it for him and does really good stuff and puts good B-roll in there and adds music, and it's really dirt cheap. So that way, all you have to do is be responsible for creating the content itself, no editing at all, and you just drag those clips over to the Dropbox, and then, you know, your person in Pakistan or the Philippines or wherever, they do it for you. You know, you also want to maybe hire somebody, which would be pretty cheap if this isn't your cup of tea, to create your YouTube thumbnails. Thumbnails are going to be huge. And what I mean by thumbnails are like the image that people see when they see your video on YouTube, like that thumbnail. You want it to be good. And then you might want to bring somebody on to do your YouTube SEO, or you might want to learn it yourself. If you're super busy, then you'll just hire somebody to do it for you. And so basically, you're just a content creator paying people $2 an hour to do everything else for you.
Awesome. Yeah, because that was the part I was kind of freaking out about. I thought, oh man, I got to learn how to make the videos. I got to learn how to edit the videos. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay.
It's a good skill to have. I like to know how to do that stuff. Like I used to edit my own YouTube videos back in the day because in college I worked in the media center, and so I learned all of this stuff. I just think it's fun. Actually, I'm not going to say that. To hang out at night, a little bit inebriated, editing something. But yeah, and so I think you can knock all of this out in one morning or just one afternoon.
Cool.
All right. That's it?
Yep, that's it.
Thanks, Mary. Quote of the day show, you guys probably know this. I find all the clips on Monday morning, and then one day during the week, usually on Saturday, but I've been getting them earlier to my guy. I did them yesterday, as a matter of fact. I record all the intros. It takes me an hour. So it's 5 hours a week for the entire week of content, which is really nice. We're going to go back to Kate.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I was tending my dog. My market is lawyers, law firms, and law students. And the other people that are out there doing what I'm doing right now are using written content. There's not any video or even podcasts that I found. And I am interested in doing maybe a weekly, kind of like what I think it was Allison mentioned, maybe reading a blog and making that into a podcast. And my question, I'm back to what you said earlier, is what will people think of me? Is kind of my thing. I'm teaching mindfulness, resilience, positive psychology to enhance lawyers' well-being. And there are a lot of people that want it, but they aren't, it's kind of a, secret desire. It's not cool in the profession to, have well-being. So I'm, taking it off the page and into, even my voice is a big step. So I'm just wondering if that makes sense and that would distinguish me, or if that's, as I'm saying it, I'm realizing, yeah, that's right. And I need to be bold and do it.
Fortune goes to the bold, and it is definitely something that is needed. And I think the podcast part of it, well, it's private, the attorney or law school student can listen to it on their headphones, while they're in the car, or probably not in the car, but while they're exercising or doing something. So it's definitely worth a shot to see if that is the medium that will connect with that audience. So it's definitely worth a test. I think it's a good market. I think there's a lot of attorneys out there. Usually when people go like really niche like that, I go, oh, I'm not sure. But, this is a niche that it definitely has well-being issues, but they also have the money to pay you for services. I think that's the big thing there. As far as like, what will people think of you? It'll always be something that comes up for all of us all of the time. Don't expect it to actually go away. But you're going to find that the more you actually do it and you be bold and put the content out, it simmers down more and more and more each time. And it's nowhere near as bad as you thought it was going to be. And one thing, for all of you, and I recommend that you do this at some point over the week, or do it right now. A lot of us say, I'm afraid of what everybody's going to think of me. Define who your everybody is. And I bet you your everybody is like two people. It's probably dad, or it's your brother, or it's your sister, or something like that. And you don't want them to pick on you. You want their approval. And we can't not do the thing that we want to do because of the approval that we're not going to get from two people, who we call everybody. And that's just kind of the way that it's going to be for a lot of us, is we generalize. And we also have to know that, life is a polarity, and we're going to get a lot of praise. We're also going to get criticism. And it's just all about how that criticism lands for you. And if you allow it to beat you down, then, that's what you're allowing it to do. And usually when here's my thing. I used to have a huge problem with haters, judging me or saying bad things about me online. I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't bug me at all, but I feel more compassion for them now than I did before, because you have to be in a pretty shitty state in your life to go online and talk negatively about somebody. Like, I would never do something like that. And I've been in bad places in my life, so I can only imagine like what they are going through. That it makes people feel so insecure to see somebody else out there doing the thing that they want to do and helping people. Like, it bothers you that much that you have to lash out online. That's not a problem with me. That's a problem with you. Now, do we say stupid stuff every once in a while that we probably shouldn't say? Yeah. And we're going to get our asses handed to us for that. That's just the way that it is. But it calms down after a day and nobody even thinks about it anymore. You have to understand, like, people do not think about us as much as we think that they think about us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, you don't sit around like marinate over something someone says online all day and all week. Like, no, it might bother you for a few minutes and then you kind of move on. But on the other end of it, feels like everybody's holding on to it and they're going to keep emailing us and writing bad stuff. It blows over. It's okay. But just do what you got to do.
The other thing I wanted to ask is about frequency. I was thinking maybe weekly I would do this. And then also the other frequency I thought was, there's actually a parent coach that I subscribe to now that does a daily inspirational written quote. It's just a few lines and it's usually quoting somebody else. And that's in the inbox every day just to kind of keep top of mind. And I'm wondering, is that coupled with a weekly too much to start, or any guidance of where to start?
There's never too much to start.
Okay.
If it's good content, if you think that the quote that you're talking about is good content that people actually want to hear about, they want to receive, go ahead and do it. I think Marie made the recommendation to like make content. I mean, I think she might have said once a week or once every 2 weeks just to get started. I can't remember. That's fine, just to get that ball rolling. Ideally, I mean, I really like to see people bang out more than once a week, but that's just me. I find that the people who create the most content, the most consistent, the most frequent are the ones who build their businesses the fastest. But I don't want to put that pressure on you and feel like, you need to put out a 5-day-a-week podcast or a 7-day-a-week video blog. You don't have to do that to begin. Just kind of get started, And then you'll see, hey, people are liking this, and that makes you feel more encouraged to do more of it. And then you start to bring on clients, so that starts to free up some of your time because you're starting to make money. And then you just kind of start. But the bottom line here is like, start. Starting is the hardest for everybody. And even I've seen people start and they write the blog post and they don't upload the blog post. They're like, yo, I have 6 months of content. I'm like, why do you have 6 months of content that you haven't published yet? I don't know. You know, you just gotta upload it, publish it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. We're gonna go to Jeanette and then we'll go back to Kate. Lower hand, Jeanette, go ahead. Hey.
Okay, so I'm good on video. That's my jam. My self-limiting belief, my biggest fear is writing. So I do struggle with that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You said you're great at YouTube, but your struggle is writing.
Right, videos. So I make all these videos, but because I don't know SEO on YouTube and I don't know how to tag, nobody sees my content. So do I learn it, or do I, like you just said, or go ahead and get someone to do this and hire someone?
Whichever works for you, whichever is in your budget. You know, you got to hire someone. Go ahead.
Are we going to learn this with you about YouTube, or not really?
I'm going to show you some stuff about YouTube SEO. Is it going to be the equivalent of an entire course on it? No, I'm not going to be able to do that in an hour. But you will learn some stuff. But I mean, for you, I would recommend learning it. There's something really powerful about learning how to do something so you don't have to depend on somebody else to do it. But it's just really up to you as to how you want to do that.
And with my blog, so I do cooking videos, I do food product reviews, and I do motivation. Should I just get someone to kind of hire someone to write my content based on what I'm saying on video if I do struggle that much with writing, expressing myself in writing?
Yeah, you certainly can. Absolutely. And you know what? I'm really glad you brought up that point, as a matter of fact. Of course, like, you know, some people say, I have a video, I'm going to have it transcribed. I'm going to put that transcription on the blog. And the way that we speak is not the way that we write. So it's just two completely different things. So I don't recommend you do that. But the reason why I'm glad you brought that up is because for a lot of you, your opt-in offers, it may be an ebook, but here's how you do it. If you're not a great writer, if you don't feel like you're a great writer, do a basic, I'm talking white background, black letters webinar about the 7 things. 7 things, you know, your doctor didn't tell you about, whatever it may be. You do those 7 things, you talk about it, then you take the video webinar and you send it to rev.com. Rev.com will transcribe it for you. Rev.com sends it back to you. Then you hire a writer or an editor on Fiverr or Upwork.com. You send it to them, and then they turn that transcript into an ebook for you. Does that make sense? And so everybody here can actually create their ebook without actually writing the ebook. A lot of the stuff that you get online, like the free stuff, the person didn't actually write. They just made a big video about it, and somebody else just made it make sense in a white paper or in an ebook format. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, no?
I've used Rev, and it's pretty affordable, and they're quick. It's a quick turnaround. So, okay. All right, that's a great suggestion.
I want to see something, Jeanette. Where are your videos? YouTube. Let's look at your. This page isn't available. What's your YouTube name?
JeanetteMaceda.com.
$381 subscribers, videos. I'm gonna do a quick screen share. Okay. So these are your videos, and we can sort by most popular.
Like, it's a hot mess. Like, I don't know how to organize it. I just throw content out there.
Let me see something else here. Hershey syrup review.
Hi everybody, it's Jeanette. Today we're talking about Hershey's syrup. I know it's very popular with desserts as well as in children's milk. Here's the thing, there's no need to have 4 different types?
So I would work on your title names. It's hard to say because I'd have to compare it to, like, what I would do is I would do a search for Hershey syrup review, and you're going to be able to see I'm not sure this is the best example here. Best chocolate syrup in India. Oh, there, you're number 3 there. That's great. This is the best example. Yeah, let me show this to you when we do the YouTube SEO thing.
And that's one of those views are not my normal. I usually get like 3, 4, 5, 10 views. So that's just maybe the topic.
Yeah, a lot of times it's the title of the, like, here's the thing, especially for, thank you, Jeanette, for the health practitioners out there. We see blog posts come up over Facebook and we're like, oh, that's corny, that's cheesy, the 5 things, the 7 things, do's and don'ts, like, we are like, I don't want to read that. But at the same time, it's not written for us. It's written for the average person out there. And so always keep that in mind. People love listicles. List 7 things, 10 things, 11 things, whatever it may be. So keep that in mind, please. Okay, I want to show you something real quick, and I hope it shows up on the share before I let you go. I do have to go in a couple minutes. But this is just to help you. If who's unmuted? If there's a movie, mute Jennifer, mute Jeanette. Okay. If you guys want to watch a movie about creativity that shows you the entire creative process, watch the movie about Ed Sheeran. It's called Songwriter. And if you listen to Ed Sheeran, his last album was called like Divide or something like that. I forget. But it's a great album. And you will see the process literally from idea to album. It's like him just like, and the words fill themselves in. It's really, really cool. You see the whole production. You see them like putting together the actual song. You see them collaborating with other people. Like, it is the creative process itself. And we can get pretty frustrated, especially in the beginning, because the best stuff isn't coming out of us. If you read my first emails a long time ago, if you watch my videos when they first started, if you listen to my Underground Wellness Radio podcast back in the day, like, it wasn't amazing. It was okay, but it wasn't amazing. And you're going to learn more about that process in this really short clip I'm going to show you. But this is, when he said this, I was like, yes, that's the one. I wish everybody would hear this. So I hope you can see this, because sometimes iTunes will block things from being shared. Can you see that screen with Ed Sheeran's head? There you go. Okay. Let me turn this back up, and I have the subtitles on.
There were a lot of teachers at my school who I think didn't quite get it. And a lot of my friends as well just didn't get it. I remember like dropping out of school and moving to London, and all of my mates being like, what are you doing? This is not going to work out. Oh, you want to be a famous musician, do you? And I think Mr. Hanley never had a doubt. Yeah, he's really cool.
I kind of view songwriting as a dirty tap in an old house, because you switch on the dirty tap and I'm going to swear this. Sorry. You switch on the dirty tap and it just spits out shit water for about kind of 10 minutes, and there's just mud and grit and just all sorts of messiness coming out, and then it starts flowing clean water, and then little bits of grit still come out, and then after a while it's just clean. And when I first started writing songs, they were terrible, and that was the mud and grit coming out, and I was unplugging it, and I tried to write like 2 or 3 songs a day for a while, just unplugging. Now and then you get the odd good song stick out. That would be the first bit of clean water coming out, and then once all the bad songs had gone, the good songs started flowing. And now and then I'd write a bad song, but I think the key is when you know you're writing a bad song, make sure you finish it, just so you get it out of you, because if you don't, then your next song will have like a bad part in it. So just view it as a constant stream. Try and write a song a day, even if it's terrible. Just get it out of you, because the best songs that you write will be 5 years from now. I have notes on my phone, and every time I see something or get something that rhymes. Like I remember the way that I wrote A-Team is for a month. I had a sorry, I'm going to tell another story. I had a friend that sold cocaine from just skating to people and just selling it. And my initial thing was Johnny is in the class A-Team, and that's the first thing I wrote down in my notes. And then I went into this homeless shelter and met this girl called Angel who was on a lot of drugs, and like the next thing I wrote down was her face crumbling like pastries, and like so I wrote down all these kind of like A-Team, daydream, pastries, day scream, like all these rhyming things in my phone, and then one day sat down and the song happened in 20 minutes, but that was like 3 months of stocking stuff up. So
my self-belief came from, I wasn't good at anything else, so as soon as I started excelling, and I was in.
So the main idea there is in the beginning, that's when the junk comes out. And your content isn't going to be, it might be amazing, I hope it is, but I find that a lot of people don't have the patience. Is my video on? No. Start video. All right, I find that a lot of people don't have the patience to allow all of the grit and all of the not so good material to come out first. Because we want to, as I've said before, compare our chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. And so we just got to create the content, do the writing, post it, publish it. And there's some stuff that you're going to write and some stuff you're going to record that you just don't like. And there was many times, where I shot a video and I'm editing it and I'm like, I wouldn't even want to watch this myself. And I would just delete it all. I've done that with podcasts where I actually interviewed somebody and I was like, this isn't the one. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to post this. And that's just the way it's going to be. But be okay with that and know that as you continue to write, as you can continue to record, that it's just going to get better and better and better and better and better. But just allow that to happen. And also, lastly, usually when I'm writing an email, it just happens right there. But sometimes, like if I know I have a show coming up on Friday and I've been thinking about it a little bit, the subject line will happen in the shower, or I'm in the hot tub, or I'm just walking around. I'll be like, oh, that's a really good subject line, and I'll write it down. Or the topic or story from my life that relates to that particular episode will come up a few days before, or the night before, or the morning of, and I just make sure that I write it down and I put it into my notes, or I put it into my notes on my computer. So your content, a lot of times, will come to you in advance. And you just write it down, you just put it all together. Does that make sense? But watch that movie, Songwriter. There's really good songs in there, too. I got to go. I got to get to this event. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for getting here early. I appreciate it. And I will see you next week. We'll talk all about podcasting next time. Same time, same channel. I'm out. Bye, friends.